For a long period of time, the internet was used in this one-to-one model. It was me and a website. Nobody else was part of that conversation. The content on the website was the same, whoever I am, and was beamed back to me and was not shared with anyone else. Now, because of the scope of these interactions, whether you're gaming or sharing news and views, the addition of a social element is just more important, and the fact that you're doing it under an identity that enables other people to trust you is more important. So essentially, the internet has become too important for us now to be done as a fringe activity in the bedroom. It's something that's now, part of your everyday life. In many countries, they have specific laws that outlaw certain forms of content. And actually, this is fairly universal. For example, in the UK, we have a law that allows organisations which in some way support terrorism to be outlawed, even if they're not actually terrorist organisations. And we had a row a little while ago about an organisation called Islam for UK that was doing very offensive protests at funerals of soldiers or corteges of soldiers that were being brought back from Afghanistan. That organisation was proscribed by the UK government and became illegal. But it wasn't illegal globally. It wasn't a terrorist organisation in the normal sense that would be illegal everywhere where we'd remove the content. And our response then is to then make the content that is only illegal in one country inaccessible in that one country, where it otherwise meets normal standards. It's not just a Facebook issue, but all global web services are grappling with right now is the extent to which you need to comply with those local laws, the extent to which those local laws have popular support and a popular mandate that means it is reasonable to comply with them. And when you come to areas like the recent events in North Africa, you can clearly see that people were creating content on social networking sites that the then governments might have found unacceptable, but which had huge popular support and led to incredible outcomes. In the Tunisia case, people organised protests on Facebook. There was no attempt by the government to shut down specific forms of content. What the Tunisian government did was actually try to block access to services like Facebook as a whole. They also tried to intercept the communications of people using Facebook, and we took very robust security measures against that. But in that case, the debate was allowed to flourish on Facebook, and we weren't confronted with a legal challenge. We were used to, I think, for a period of time, think of the internet as something you did on a big screen on a fixed computer. Now it's something you do on big screens and small screens at the same time. So you use a service like Facebook on your smartphone, but you also use it extensively on the computer, and that ubiquity is there. I say you can add the biggest screen of all now, the TV, probably to that mix as well, and you're using it across that whole range. So we did see, for example, in the last UK general election, very much a two-screen election. People would sit there watching the prime ministerial debates on the TV, following the news and commentary on their laptops while they're sat in the front room or on their smartphones. And that's going to become the norm. Our instinct is to create a platform on which people can debate legal issues freely. So we want people to debate whatever is of interest to them, including their political views. Most of the time they actually talk about friends and family, but they should also be able to talk about political issues and other issues on the site. There is a really interesting question about where the bounds of legality are defined, and that's not something that Facebook controls, it's something that national governments control. And we do need to work carefully around that limit. We need to consider, I think it'd be wrong for us as a single internet service provider to be thinking about that. I think it's something that governments generally, international bodies and the internet sector as a whole needs to think very carefully around.